Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe F1 2019. It's Division 1, it's round 7 here at the Autodromo Nacional de Monza. Of course, the real life F1 race being held here this week. Of course, I'm thrilled to be bringing you the action once again here in Division 1. For those of you who are tuning in and don't know me, I'm James Head14 and I will be your solo Division 1 commentator as always on a Saturday night at 6:45. I've started the stream slightly early and slightly ahead of schedule just to run through some of the necessities, including the driver's standings. First of all, I'd like to start this stream off by reflecting on some of the news that we have seen over the past week. Of course, Antoine Hubert's tragic death at Spa taking precedence over all things motorsport within the last week or so. Medical update as well on Juan Manuel Carrera. Afraid it is bad news for Juan Manuel. He has suffered an acute respiratory failure and is in a serious, a critical but stable condition in hospital, and I'm sure everyone in the comment section, everyone in the League of Europe community and across the whole motorsport community as well will be sending our best wishes to Juan Manuel. Hopefully he is a fighter like his family has said, and hopefully he will pull through what I'm sure is probably one of the worst times anyone could ever experience ever. I think it is, we need to reflect on that this I think will probably life-changing accident for him, and as I say, hopefully he will pull through, and I'm sure everyone's thoughts will be sent towards Juan Manuel, his friends, his family and his colleagues. What I'm sure is a very tough time for everyone involved with Juan Manuel. Reflecting on tonight though, we are here in Monza of course. 11 corners to be whetting the appetite for everyone, 26 laps in total here tonight at the Autodromo Nacional de Monza, of course, home of the Tifosi, and the Tifosi is represented once again with Waluigi. Once again, he's the only driver that has appeared that is in a Ferrari at the minute, so he'll be hoping to essentially get some of the homeboys some points tonight, I think. Should be a good race to set up. Coming into the driver's standings though, Montana leads the way on 126 points of the Williams. His teammate Rafa is in second on 93 points. Good to see Montana here. Not sure where Rafa is at the minute. Oh, there he is. Rafa is already here. I couldn't see his name. I'm apologising him to advance there. Harrison David in third on 76 points. No sign of Harrison David again this week, it seems, after what let's just be deemed as one of the most controversial incidents of the season so far involving him and Marquez's, but lest we dwell on that. He's in third on 76 points, as I say. Waluigi leading the Tifosi charge in fourth on 37. He's tied with Cantera as well on 37, the Spaniard in the Renault, with YHYY in sixth in the Toro Rosso, and he's on 36 points. ILRT Sterling, very impressive one-stop strategy last week. We cannot dwell over that one-stop strategy from ILRT Sterling last week. Phenomenal one-stop strategy from him to get second in the end in what was probably the race of the season in Spain last time out. And the American will be hoping to put himself up there in championship contention. 33 points for him. Juma in 8th on 28, followed by Wouters in 9th on 27, and Bullet Boy in 10th on 24. And I think Wouters is also back here tonight. Yep, Wouters is back here tonight, which is fantastic to see. The German be hoping for a very good result tonight. Looking further down the grid, we've got Maslina in 11th on 21, Dakar in 12th on 20. Good to see him back here tonight. Exjarian 13th on 19 points, Rick in 14th on 16, and Larkin in 5th on 13 points. 15th on 13 points. If I could get my words out there, I'd be a brilliant commentator. V5HOL on 8, Killer Blue on 8, Marquez is on 6, Jesse on 6 as well, and CA993 on 6 as well. So quite a few drivers there on 6 points or so. CA993 in 20th there. Of course, we've got Game Boys, Gary Donegan, F1 Racer, Own HVB, and Chapelelli also scoring points. They're on 4 and 3 points respectively. So coming into tonight, as I say, it's the Autodromo Nacional de Monza. We are here at one of the most historic tracks on the F1 calendar. 11 turns, famous synonymous names, corner names around here include the Curva Grande, turn 3, the Les Mills at turn 6 and turn 7, of course. Don't be calling them Les Bulls like I did in my first ever commentary round here. Bit embarrassing for me and a bit unprofessional from my perspective there, calling them Les Bulls. They're definitely not Les Bulls, they are Les Mills. Turn 6 and turn 7. That also opens up the first DRS detection zone going through on the entrance into turn 7. Running down to the Ascari chicane at 8, 9 and 10, and then at turn 11 Parabolica, of course. And of course, if you haven't seen qualifying, there's been a bit of a farce going on in qualifying tonight. In real life, Leclerc took pole position, but only 2 drivers getting across the line with barely a second to go in qualifying. And I've got to have a personal opinion on it. What I've seen anyways, absolute farce. Absolute farce. That qualifying session, I think, should be rerun tomorrow to see who would have got pole position, because I guarantee you Leclerc, I don't think, would have been on pole position. But everyone will have an opinion on it, but I think we can all agree what an absolute tragedy it was for the sport. I think F1 dropping its profile down a little bit. It's the top tier of motorsport, for God's sake, and having a farce like that out on track, it's just boggles my mind. It really does. It boggles my mind. But we have got a minute until racing here. Looking tonight, hello James, good evening to Montana, good evening to Joom, who is tuned in as well. Connections horse not looking great. That is Rick, of course, that is hosting us. Looking good on my end. I'm not sure if it's anybody else's end that might be occurring there. All fine for Montana, he says. And Beastie Boy, Bullet Boy, tuning into the comment section as well, saying, "Hey, what will we all do? What we will do?" I don't know what he means by that. And Aidan Carter as well, Division 2 reserve. Aidan Carter, car mentalist, recently recommended in by Toxic, who's also a Division 2 reserve. I've commented on him before. Fantastic to see him in the comment section, and hopefully you will enjoy the professional commentary that is going to be happening here tonight. But of course, we are about to get going here for the Autodromo Nacional de Monza. As again, I did start this stream a little earlier than expected, so we should be getting going very soon. It is 1:45 by me, so hopefully we will be seeing some great action out on track. If anybody is coming over from Division 3, I will update you on Division 3 as tonight goes on as well. Just waiting for the thing to load up on the Division 3 stream. That looks like there might have been a potential black screen, and they might be restarting for Division 3, and I think they might be indeed. I'm just having a look on the stream, and it looks like it's all gone a bit belly up for Division 3, so they might be restarting there. Come on over to us if you're going to be watching Division 1. That's all I can say there. But yeah, let's get on with the action. I think we'll be going very, very soon indeed. Looking in the comments section again, I mean, the real life quali is what will happen with us. If the real life qualifying happens with us, then I've got to be honest, I will not commentate on qualifying, because it'll just be an absolute farce. Hopefully we do see plenty of drivers getting their late laps in, as we have seen in qualifying before this season. And good evening to Toxic, and good evening to Technique Gaming as well. That is NSX Maslina tuning into the comment section there as well. But here we go. Qualifying is about to get underway. Good evening to Savvy, who is also coming into the comment section as well. Really hoping that this is going to be a great qualifying session. I think we've got 18 drivers here tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to count down the amount of drivers. Yeah, we've got 18 drivers here tonight. Familiar names to everyone. No newcomers here tonight. We were due to have a debutant actually tonight, Kooky Games. Sadly, something has came up for him in his personal life. We do wish him well on whatever that is. So he's not going to be debuting tonight. Hopefully we will get him in next week. He's a Slovenian driver from what I've seen in the standings anyways. Be fantastic, of course, if we do have him in next week. But qualifying about to get underway, synonymous for the Tifosi, while Luigi is going to be representing the Tifosi here tonight in that Ferrari car. Round 7 of the championship about to get underway. You can see my name there. Everyone's about to spawn into the session, and it looks pretty overcast here in Monza. There has been a threat of rain in real life in the race. Could we get rain in qualifying here, I wonder? It remains to be seen. If we can get a weather report in the comment section, I will be very happy to check that out. But qualifying is now underway. We'll wait for the first cars to come out on track. I'm going to go on board with Montana, thinking that he is going to be first out on track, and I'm pretty much guessing that he will be. He's been first out on track pretty much every time this season so far, as we'll wait for everyone to come out onto track. But 18 drivers here tonight, everyone looking to go on a set of soft compound of tyres. Looks like VRT Ciappellelli could be one of the first out of the pit lane here in the Red Bull. And he is going to be coming out the pits first. Yeah, so Ciappellelli is going to be coming out the pits first here. The German driver going to be setting his first outlap. There is activity in the pit lane as well and behind, but we'll focus on Ciappellelli in the meantime as he comes out of the pit lane. Of course, he's the first one out on track. And the Red Bull driver currently sitting in 25th place, only 3 points to his name, but that doesn't really ring any sort of questions with him. Spain last week, he did DNF, but it was a good performance from him nonetheless, and hopefully he will be able to pick up some very decent points here tonight. Hopefully more luck will go on his side. Everyone opting to come out pretty late, it seems. We're about a minute and a half into qualifying already. We've only got 3-4 drivers now out on track. Ciappellelli just runs wide, and now we're getting everyone to function out on track. But we'll focus on Ciappellelli as he comes through the second decimal there, running down towards the Ascari section, which is turns 8, 9 and 10 out on track. I'll give you a ride on board with Ciappellelli in the meantime. You can brake just after the 100-metre board and commit the car onto the curb on the left-hand side. If you get caught on the curb around here though, it does cost you the back end quite slightly, and if you lose that back end, it can really cost you the time in qualifying. So it'll be very interesting to see how the drivers cope with their setups here tonight. In the meantime, Ciappellelli is about to start a lap. Could have potential. He could have potential for pole position here tonight, and he could have potential traffic as well. There is nobody coming out of pit lane, luckily ahead of him. There are going to be cars ahead of him out on track. But it looks like Ciappellelli has beaten everyone out, which is good to see. Comes through turns 1 and 2, now coming through towards Curva Grande, turn 3. Very nice, neat first sector so far. Of course, only 3 turns in sector 1. And coming through down into braking zone of the second chicane, turns 4 and 5, gets caught in the apex nicely. Of course, Vettel's famously spun there in 2018. Are we going to see a repeat of that tomorrow, I wonder? Remains to be seen. In the meantime, Ciappellelli through the first decimal, just attacking that curb a little bit too much, just losing a little bit of momentum. But nice out of the second decimal, and he now opens up that DRS, of course. 2 DRS detection zones, one on the start-finish straight, and one down towards Ascari, which is now where he is now. 215 miles an hour under the braking zone at 100 mile at the 100-metre board there. Coming through very nicely through turns 8, 9 and 10. Now on the run up towards Parabolica. Of course, Parabolica has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, I think, today. F3 crash, of course, the sausage curb on the outside, nearly claiming, I think it was Alexander Peroni, do believe it was. Ciappellelli across the line, 20.2, so a very nice lap from him. In the meantime, we have got other drivers out on track. I'm just trying to pick up. Wouters is in the final sector in the Racing Point. Of course, he did miss last week's race, but the German is hoping to put that behind him there. And Wouters now through the final corner. We are nearly 4 minutes into qualifying, and Wouters in fact has backed off and is coming into the pits. So Wouters into the pits. Montana in the meantime coming through the final corner, the championship leader on 120 odd points. 126 points compared to Rafa on 93. Comes across the line, and it's a 19.7 from Montana. So very nice step there by the Swiss man. T. Sterling just in behind him. going into second with a 19.9. Rick is up to third with a 20 flat. But plenty of drivers coming into the final sector. Plenty of cars, which is good to see. Dakar has gone second, the Scotsman, with a 19.9. Very nice lap from him. YHYY, though, in the meantime, about to come across the line. He's going to go in between. I thought he was going to go in between Rick and Ciappellelli there. He's just shy of that, and he's gone into 7th. We see plenty of improvements. Xjarry going into 8th, Bullet Boy in 9th, V5HRL in 10th, and Rafa has just gone up into 2nd. In the meantime, Game Boys is coming through the Ascari chicane, turns 8, 9 and 10. Up towards Parabolica now. 5 minutes gone through qualifying. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1. Don't worry about that. I think it'll probably just be somebody getting out of the way who is on a down lap, which will be coming into the pits, I would imagine. Game Boys coming through the final corner now. This is looking like a very good lap from Game Boys. He goes into 6th, and look at how close it is between that top 6. Barely 0.3 of a second separating the top 6, with Montana, Rafa and Dakar currently out on top. Bit of a rhyming theme going on there for 2nd and 3rd. Sterling in 4th, Rick in 5th, Game Boys in 6th, only 1600ths off Rick. And then a Ciappellelli, while Luigi is just coming back into the pits. While YHYY, he's down in the middle sector. Xjarry, Bullet Boy, B5HRL. I think we've got Marquez's on a lap coming through into Ascari now. In the McLaren, of course he was meant to be in the Red Bull. I'm not sure what that might mean. He might be a reserve actually, so Marquez is coming in. Of course, he got disqualified last time out in Spain. Hopefully he can put that to one side and deliver a great performance here tonight. The Irishman around the final corner. Marquez is looking good, about to come across the line now, and he's set to 20.1, so just jumps in behind Game Boys and ahead of Ciappellelli by barely a 10th of a second there. But the Irishman is up to 7th as Maslina goes up into 5th, just in behind him, 19.9 from the Finn. The Ferrari man goes into 5th, so we have got a double representation of the Tifosi here tonight, Maslini and Waluigi, hoping to bring the cars home for potential big point scoring. But we are just over 6 minutes through in qualifying. Montana on top, Rafa in 2nd, Dakar in 3rd at this stage. As I think everyone is now on a down lap, so we'll ride on board them with Ciappellelli if we can. I do believe is on an out lap and is running down towards the Lesmo complex. Turn 6 and turn 7. Of course, don't count the kink. This little kink coming up towards, that is not counted as a corner on this track. This is purely just as a feature really out on track. In the meantime, Ciappellelli is on the run down towards Ascari. The official F1 map gives it as 11 corners. People can give it as 12 corners, but I'm not sure. Make your own judgment up on that. I'm going to take it from the official F1 map and say that it is 11 corners out on track. Looking forward with the comment section as we see Marquez's go quicker with a 19.6. He goes top of the standings. So Marquez's right up there early on with Montana 2nd. Ciappellelli in the meantime is about to start a lap. We'll go back on board with him. Montana coming in and saying qualifying feels awful with the wet setup, about 0.8 off the pace, says Montana. So rain during the race possibly, or in qualifying. I haven't had any confirmation of that in the comment section. Nice line from Ciappellelli through turns 1 and 2. Coming through Curva Grande now at turn 3. 20.2 is personal best. Be looking to improve on that as we approach halfway in qualifying. And he is 8,000 down on through the first sector. Getting a good run through the second chicane here. Very nice run through there. Possibly going to get him and gain him time. Goodness me, if I can get my words out. Ciappellelli in the meantime is on a lap. I'm not sure if Cantera is on a lap behind him or in front. Cantera is in fact on a lap just in front of him. And I don't think this is going to be a competitive lap from the Spaniard. He's going to be coming across the line. I think there might be a potential invalidation. It is a potential invalidation for him. In the meantime, Ciappellelli through Ascari. Plenty of traffic now out on track. Hopefully nobody going to be getting in the way. Maledictus pulls off to one side. Plenty of warming up the tyres. Wouters just getting out of the way there. Now through Parabolica. It's a relatively clean run now from Ciappellelli through here down to the line. Start finish straight now. Through turn 11 of Parabolica. That's a McLaren just coming in. That's Marquez's. Comes across the line. 19.7. Ciappellelli improves and he's up to P3. Very nice lap there from the German. He gets out of the way of Wouters as well. He's just starting a lap, as is Maledictus just in behind. We'll go on board then with Doom coming through the middle sector, just running that slightly wide at the first Lesmo. Now hitting the second Lesmo complex very nicely indeed. He now comes through the kink on the run down towards the Ascari chicane, but only 1100ths of a second separating Marquez's and Montana, as we are. Around halfway through qualifying, and ILRT Sterling puts himself up to P1 with a 19.4. Very nice lap there from the guy formerly known as Sterling West, of course. ILRT Sterling, a 19.4, puts it to Marquez's and Montana, looking like a potential wet setup on Marquez and Montana, possibly, as Montana improves and goes second in the meantime with a 19.6. Just put the end of that lap there. Wouters in the meantime coming through the end of the middle sector, now into Ascari. Now they run up towards Parabolica. Rafa has gone fourth, I do believe. He's only 9 thousandths off Marquez's, so Rafa is up to fourth ahead of Schiaparelli. Not sure if that was actually mean, or was it Dakar improving ahead of Maslina? Remains to be seen. Luigi has just gone fifth in the meantime. Wouters across the line. He goes third with a 19.6 and only a thousandth ahead of Marquez's. Really, really tight qualifying here in Italy. Tell you what, this is going to be such a good session going forward. Dakar is about to come into the pits. Maslina not improving. YHYY is just beginning a lap, I do believe. In the meantime, Game Boys through the middle sector, 2.5 tenths up for the QVR team. And Game Boys now through nicely. 20 flat is his current personal best at 20.027. And barely 200th of a second separating between 10th and 12th. So Game Boys looking to improve up the order. Should be going around Schiaparelli Dakar sort of area, I would imagine, with this. Game Boys round in the final corner. Better come across the line now for Game Boys. What a lap this is. And he goes right in between where I said he would. Schiaparelli and Dakar. He's gone up to P8 with a 19.8. So very nice lap there from Game Boys. In the meantime, we'll try and pick out on somebody that might be on a lap. Is X-Jarry on a lap, I wonder? Let's have a find out and see if he is on a lap. And very nice lap's been set. No, X-Jarry not on a lap, and I don't think anyone else is on a lap either. Luigi not on a lap. Game Boys is not on a lap either. So we'll go on board with somebody then that's on an out lap, and we'll go on board with the Irishman, Marquez's, who is on the 19.6 currently. We have got 1/3 of qualifying left with 6 minutes to go. Or just over 6 minutes to go, in fact. Marquez is a 19.6, improved nearly 5 tenths of a second on his previous best, which was a 20.1 or 20.2. Marquez is now down into turns 1 and 2, looking very nice indeed. That's the best line I think I've seen all night, taken through there. Very nice as he comes through Cover Corner now at turn 3. Flat out through here. Catch the inside, you do getting a little bit of ground on that inside, and you do shave off a thousandth of a second as Marquez is a 10th up through the first sector, really attacking that nicely, not running any wheels into the gravel either there. So very nice sector 1 from Marquez as he comes through the lettable section now, just running slightly wide of the apex there. Maybe just attacking a little bit too much, missing his braking point just slightly. It's not going to cost him too much time though on the run down towards Ascari. And through the middle sector, 52.5, 600th of a second up. So he has lost about 500th of a second there. Can be costly. So he runs through Ascari, looking very nice, gaining as wide as possible on exit. And Marquez is looking to improve ahead of Montana and Wouters here for second place. And I think it's looking good enough for that at the minute. Now through Parabolica at the final corner. Run as wide as possible through here, gain the time, and Marquez's Bullet Boy goes to the top. Marquez's responds and goes second, and goes ahead of ILRT Sterling in the meantime. So Bullet Boy has gone to the top of the timing screens. Bit of a shock there, if I've got to be honest. Wasn't expecting him to be anywhere near the top. But it's a 19.2. The Alfa Romeo drivers looking very, very good indeed. First and third for those guys currently. Marquez has split them for this 19.3. in the McLaren, as we have heard somebody off track. That is a Haas that is off track. Is that Maledictus? Yeah, it's Maledictus out on track, who has either spun or is invalidated. I'm not sure what has happened now with Maledictus. In the meantime, Contera is on a lap. Doom just behind him, I think, on an out lap as well. So Contera will be helping out his teammate here, of course, both Spaniards. Contera now through the final corner at Parabolica. This is looking like a very nice lap, I've got to say. This could be an 18 possibly from Contera. Better come across the line now. It's nowhere near an 18. 19.5 in the end for Contera. Moves up to 4th ahead of Montana, who's into 5th. Juma's just started a lap in behind. We've got Maledictus not on a lap. Just trying to pick up with somebody that is on a lap. I think Montana is going for another lap here. The Swiss man will ride on board with Doom, who I think is just in behind out on track as well. And a 10th up through the first sector for Montana. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. I have a feeling that it's just somebody getting out of the way. But Bullet Boy, Marquez, Sterling, your top 3. Who would have expected that here in Division 1? It's Cantera, Montana, 4th and 5th. Montana on a lap, as I said, 10th up through the first sector, and the Swiss man now looking to try and better the likes of Cantera and Sterling and Marquez's, who are ahead of him out on track. 3/10 up through the middle sector. This is looking good for Montana. Not looking good in theoretical best sort of terms, but Bullet Boy with a 19.2 is going to come under some pressure now from the Swiss man. The current championship leader is about to possibly set pole position here. Montana now through Parabolica at the final corner. What are we going to see from him? He's going to come across the line now. This could be an 18 across the line. It's a 19.2 and he falls short of Bullet Boy in the end. So Bullet Boy still remains on pole position. And I don't think Montana is going to get another lap in either. Dumas came into the pits in the meantime. Cantera has run out of fuel. ILRT Rafa in the meantime is on a lap. Montana's teammate, the German, now through Parabolica at the final corner. He will have Cantera on the exit of Parabolica, who is diving into the pit lane. Rafa across the line goes into 5th with a 19.4. Nice lap there from the German. He's just 7 thousandths off Sterling. Look at how tight it is from 1st to 10th. Separated by just over 5/10 of a second. That's what you don't like to see. I know Rafa is desperate to try and get another lap in. I don't think he is going to get another lap in. According to my timing screens anyways, I don't think he will. Let's focus on somebody then who's just started a lap. It's Dakar then on a lap. 19.9 for the Scotsman. Looking to improve on his time. Through the end of the first second, he's already 2.5 tenths up. Gets a good run through here and he's absolutely flying. Very nice line through there, and Dakar's looking good. 19.9 currently, 2.5 tenths up. Will put him around Wouter's sort of area. He was to maintain this pace right to the end of his lap. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 and sector 3. That's down at Ascari. We should see that very soon out on track. The yellow flags have just turned green, in fact, on the left-hand side there. Dakar then running up towards Ascari. 2.5 tenths still up through the middle sector. This is looking good. If he gets a good run through here, he'll be flying up towards Parabolica now. Just a little bit tentative there on exit into Ascari. Just a little bit tentative. Rafa has retired out the session. Dakar then through the final corner. I think that was done in the pit lane. Rafa retiring into the pits. It was. Dakar about to come across the line. Goes ahead of Maslina, and he's only a 100th off Rafa, in fact. The 19.4, I think the Scotsman will be happy with that lap. We have got drivers further down. That's on a lap. Chapelelli improving slightly, 600ths up as he comes through Parabolica now for what is probably his final lap. BRT Chapelelli across the line. This is looking good, I've got to say. He found the time in the final sector and he goes 3rd. He finds nearly over 4/10 of a second through that final sector. Chapelelli, 19.3. Very nice lap. Montana retires. He's not going to be getting pole position. We'll have to keep an eye on Marquez's. In the meantime, we'll ride on board with V5 HRL in the McLaren. He's just coming through Ascari. 800ths up in the middle sector. Looking to improve ahead of the likes of YHYY and Rick. Possibly getting himself ahead in towards Game Boy Waluigi sort of area as well. Qualifying is finished. Bullet Boy, Montana, Chapelelli, your current top 3, but it's all going to change for sure. V5 HRL now around the final corner. The Irishman about to come across the line. What's it going to be? He goes 13th and he goes ahead of Game Boy. So right in where I said he would be. Xjarry about to come across the line. This is looking good again from the Mercedes driver. Across the line. He doesn't improve. It's an invalidated lap. Maledictus now through Parabolica. How is Marquez's looking? Where is Marquez out on track? He's just behind him. Chapelelli is off track. He's run out of fuel. Maledictus about to come across the line now. He jumps up to 13th. Just behind Waluigi and ahead of his teammate. Out qualifying his teammate. Marquez is improving. He's going to go to the top here. It's an invalidated time and it's a 19 flat for Marquez's. ILRT Sterling in the meantime is on a lap. He's 600ths up. It's not enough yet. He's the only one that can actually do this. Bullet Boy in an outlap. He is not going to be getting across the line. It's only ILRT Sterling that can do this then. Better come across the line. Can he steal it from his teammates? No, he can't. It's a 19.3 from Sterling and he jumps up into 5th place as a result. I think he found a little bit of an improvement there. But Bullet Boy is out on pole position. I never thought I'd see the day. Bullet Boy is out on top. Look at how tight qualifying is. This is Division 1, folks. Bullet Boy out on top, Montana second, Schiaparelli in third, 700ths separating the top three. The Marquez is in fourth, Sterling in fifth, Wouters in sixth, Rafa in seventh, Dakar in eighth, Maslina in ninth, Cantera, not bad qualifying from him in 10th, Luigi in 11th, Rick in 12th, Maledictus in 13th, V5HRL in 14th, Game Boys in 15th, YHYY in 16th, Xjarry in 17th, Joom not getting a lap time in. The whole field, the whole 17 drivers that set a lap, separated by less than a second. As I said, this is Division 1, folks. Brilliant qualifying session there, so tight on the grid, and it's going to be very interesting to see who will get the win here. Absolutely pouring down of rain. The British, rather, has followed us now to Italy, and it is absolutely pissing down of rain out on track. Let's have a look at the comment section though in the meantime. Jerry just coming in and saying, like I already said, dry quali and full wet race. Did I miss your comment? I might have missed your comment. Yeah, I've been commentating on qualifying, so I do apologise about that. People are running wet setups, and Bullet Boy is running a wet setup and has got pole position by, it doesn't seem like default. It's pure pace, and Bullet Boy is out on top. Top 10 within 3 tenths. Top 17 within a second. Absolutely fantastic. I think we're showing up another league called FRL at this point with our Division 1 here. Fantastic stuff indeed. I can't wait to be commentating on the action for you here tonight, as it is full wet conditions out on track. Of course, I'm needless to say what everyone is on at the minute. So everyone on the wet compound of tyre. This is the worst compound of tyre that is available to the drivers. Of course, it's the wettest compound of tyre available to drivers here. Bullet Boy sets out on a formation lap here. Montana, Schiaparelli, Marquez is just in behind. Of course, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section about who will get a top 3 here in Division 1. I think we've seen quite a few drivers go off there at turn 1, possibly. No, I thought it was just a camera angle there. I will put my top 3 down as they come up to join on the grid. In the meantime, I'm just going to check on how Division 3 is getting on. If you do want an update on Division 3, I'm going to give it to you now. And it is Wouter in first, not Wouters, as in the guy in P6 here in Division 1. He is out on top at the minute with Big W in second, Ed UK in third, Sendo in fourth, and Ryan B in fifth currently in that. And majority of the field looking like they're on medium compound of tyres. Car Cannon and Ivor Bryn Mike are both out of the race. Everyone else is currently going around on track. That was well attended again. 18 races there in Division 1, 16 of them still going around out on track. Fantastic to see. And that race, the complexion of the race will definitely change coming forward. But in the meantime, Marquez is just coming in on Discord, by the way, saying invalidated, let's go. Yes, a shame that a 19 flat was invalidated. He would have gone P1 as a result of that, so interesting to see what he can do in the race. Of course, full wet conditions, and now we are reaching the end of the formation lap. I will reveal now my top 3 as I tune into the comment section. I got my money on Montana, says Spine F1. I haven't got my money on Montana. I don't think he's going to perform as well as what people might hope he will in these conditions. I'm going to go for a bit of a shock. I'm going to go Marquez's for the win. I'm going to go for Montana's second and Rafa in third. I think it'd be interesting to see. Watch out as well, Joom, Cantera, watch out for them here on, as everyone now joins up to the grid. Joom just joining on the back. We are about to get prepared for 5 red lights here at the Autodromo Nacional de Monza, round 7 of the championship. We're about to go on to the green light, the red light sequence now. 5 red lights, about to go out for round 7 of the championship. It's lights out and away we go. Fantastic start from Bullet Boy. Gets the traction very nicely off. Can't even see what's happening in behind because of the spray. Montana, though, is going to attack Bullet Boy down into turn 1. Anybody outbreaking themselves into turn 1? Yes, Schiaparelli outbreaking himself just in behind. A little bit of a Constantino effect in behind. Bullet Boy's had to cut across turn 1 and 2. Montana, in the meantime, he will have to give that position back, and Montana should be in the lead now. Bullet Boy does give that position back, and Montana is through. Marquez is through on Schiaparelli as well. He's up to P3. Very clean start from what I gather in behind. Ex-Jarry has dropped down a position of Schiaparelli. Comes down the inside of Marquez, and that is similar to what we've seen with Vettel last season. That has caused a massive Constantino effect in behind. I think Rafa has lost a bit of front wing there as well. Daka has lost a little bit of front wing, possibly as well. Schiaparelli, bit of a reckless move going down the inside. Of course, we will wait to see what the stewards think of that. Montana, in the meantime, has got the break. 6/10 of a second ahead of Bullet Boy. Marquez is in third. Wout is in fourth. And as you can see, Maslina now right on the back of ILRT Sterling, who's had a bit of a shocker of a start, to be honest. He's only down a position, but he does go ahead of Maslina. Still, as they run down towards Ascari, while Ricci in behind. Maledictus and Game Boy's having a bit of a scrap. Doom is already up a few positions after that bit of contact. As Maledictus, in fact, that's Game Boy's going very slow, and Doom now getting the position. So Doom's now up to 14th place, making his way through the field, as well Luigi's right on the back of Daka in the foreground of Shot, if you can even see the cars in the foreground of Shot. Who was that going sideways out the final corner? That was Maslina, I think, out the final corner. Montana, though, has got the break early on. 6/10 of a second lead from Bullet Boy in second. Marquez is in third. Wouters is up to P4. Let's see the position gains early on. Cantera is up 5 positions. He is the most position gained at the minute. So Cantera is up 5 positions and now begin to attack the back of Wouters, who is in P4 at the minute. Dramatic start to the race. Game Boys and Doom have a bit of a battle in behind, as Bullet Boy now comes under attack from Marquez's. Marquez is now down the inside. Bullet Boy will have to relinquish that position, and he does, and Marquez is through, and he's up to P2. Nice commitment there under the brakes from Marquez's, and the Irishman is through, and he is up into P2, going through the Les Mill complex now, the first Les Mill and now the second Les Mill. Cantera in the meantime with ILRT Sterling in behind. Cantera right all over the back of Wouters. Just pick out, he hasn't got any front wing damage. I thought he did. He hasn't got any front wing damage though. I think he might be just struggling in the wet conditions. In the meantime, Game Boys has been overtaken by Ex-Jarry and YHYY as well. So plenty of position gains going on as Daka and Waluigi go side by side into Ascari. I think that was Daka trying to commit around the outside. Waluigi now on the inside into Ascari. Both of them keep it clean. It's going to be 3 wide though, because here comes Rafa. Rafa, who has lost his right side end plate, as I can notice. Daka will have to back off this. Rafa trying to make ground. Down the inside he goes. Even with right side end plate damage, he tries to commit this move down the inside at Parabolica. And what a move that is. Even with front wing damage, Rafa has managed to get past Waluigi. Brilliant move by the German. He's up to P9. After that early contact, Rafa is starting to make gains through the field once again, but Waluigi is going to be on the outside line down into turn 1. We've got to be careful, of course, with that braking point, especially in the wet conditions. Do not treat this as the dry conditions, but Rafa forces the issue, and he's up to P9 with a fantastic move. In the meantime, Cantera coming through Curva Grande, right on the back of Wouters. Game Boys has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Cantera not lunging it down the inside. Looking, oh, and Wouters in fact goes straight on at the chicane. Wouters has gone straight on at the chicane, and that's going to make it look pretty easy now for Cantera. ILRT Sterling trying to hang around the outside as well. Cantera is certainly through. ILRT Sterling just decides to back off, and he's going to try and go for a move down into the second last mile. Not quite. But the wet conditions now beginning to fill up a lot of spray. Montana leads 7/10 of a second. He's not getting the way out in front. In the meantime, ILRT Sterling right on the back of the German. Wouters ahead. ILRT Sterling down the inside. Wouters, bit of an early break there from him. And ILRT Sterling is through, and he's up to P5. With, I've got to say, a bit of an easy move, I've got to be honest there. Waluigi right on the back of Rafa in the meantime. That front wing damage just coming back to hurt him as he comes towards Parabolica. In the meantime, ILRT Sterling lunging it down the inside of Cantera. Parabolica going to be very close between these two. I think Cantera's just going to hold around the outside on the traction. He is. Marquez sets the new fastest lap. Oh my goodness me! ILRT Sterling. Not sure if there was a bit of contact there between Cantera. Had a right old moment, nearly ending up in the pit lane, nearly ending up out the race potentially as well. And ILRT Sterling somehow is still in this race. My God, What a moment that was. Sterling somehow still in it. Whew. In the meantime, Marquez is down the inside of Montana for the lead of the race. They've got to be careful in these wet conditions. Montana, though, forcing the issue down the inside. Marquez has had every right to go up the inside, but the traction off the corner favouring Montana, as now Bullet Boy tries to get on the act as well. Three-way battle for the lead now beginning to develop. As I said, Montana not as strong in the wet conditions as he is in the dries. Montana beginning to struggle slightly, and Marquez is seemingly all over the back of him, with Bullet Boy trying to get on this as well. Cantera is into fourth, with Wouters now on the back of him. He's getting the 10th out of the Les Mill complex. With Sterling in behind, as Wouters going to be close enough to go for a move down the inside here. The German, half commitment, not going to go for a move. But in the meantime, most positions gained, by the way. Cantera, 6 positions gained. I think Juma's gained 4, Rick has gained 4 as well. So good position gains from them. Everyone is still continuing. Only a slight bit of front wing damage for a few cars, but relatively clean so far in very challenging conditions. As we move on to lap 5 here in Monza, and it's Montana who leads, with Marquez in second, Bullet Boy in third position, Cantera in fourth, Wouters in fifth, Sterling in sixth. They all come across the line now to start lap 5. Maslina on the back trying to get involved in this as well. Sterling just trying to go and catch a side of his braking point into turn 1, nearly into the back of Wouters there. Oh, that was very close. In the meantime, June is getting past V5HRL. V5HRL ran the outside line, defending the position, and he's kept it. V5HRL, now Jim on the outside line, he's now on the inside line going into Curva Grande. This is going to be very tricky now for V5HRL to pull this off, and in fact he just backs up slightly, and June is through, and he's up to P13, and making more positions through the field. That is a 5th position gain for June, as that is YHYY now trying to have a go at V5HRL, but again, good respect shown, not committing for a move that's not going to be there. YHYY sticks in behind V5HRL, he's currently in P15. But what a start to the race. Montana leads the way, Marquez is second, Bullet Boy in third with Cantera in fourth. Blue Sky now beginning to break. It is still absolutely teeming down out on track, as we see the 4-way battle for fourth begin to develop, and there's the closest battle out on track between Cantera and Wouters. In the meantime, if you are a Chapelelli fan, can give you an update on his progress. He's still in 18th place, but he is right on the back of Game Boy, 6/10 off at this moment in time. It'll be interesting to see if he can make any further gains tactically through the race rather than with pace. He might have damage as well, so he's just beginning to lose that time. Montana, new fastest lap for the race with a 32.5. In the meantime, Maslina is all over the back of ILRT Sterling. You can really see the spray being kicked up and the difficulty that these drivers will have to visually engage going down into that braking point. Of course, usual braking points would be at around 100 metre boards here. In the wet, it's around 150 metre boards. YHYY in the meantime going side by side now with V5HRL. Down the inside goes YHYY, forces the issue. V5HRL has to give up the position. Just caused a bit of a Constantine with XJerry in behind, but it's not bad at all. And YHYY is through, and he's up to P14. The Chapelelli is through on Game Boys, who I think got caught in a bit of a half spin there out of turns 1 and 2. Now through Curva Grande at turn 3, so Chapelelli up in position. XJerry trying to go all the way around the outside again. Very difficult to pick out the visualization braking points here tonight. And XJerry, I think, just beginning to lose that a little bit. But it is Montana who leads. We'll go back on board with the battle for fourth. Wouters again very close to Cantera. He's not going to go for the move again down the inside. Just beginning Constantino up. Cantera not looking as strong as what we've seen him so far this season. He has pulled out a big gap there through Ascari though. LRT Sterling now on the back of Wouters. Could have him down the inside of Parabolica. Got a beautiful helicopter cam for this as well. And the American is going to go down the inside, possibly on the German. Very close to contact. It is contact. Out of camera shot now. LRT Sterling, I think, has got caught on the front wing. Might be left side end plate damage. In fact, he's kept it somehow out the wall. No, he's coming into the pits. LRT Sterling, then going down the inside, just over committed a little bit. Contact on the rear end, and LRT Sterling is into the pits to repair some front wing. And that is a front wing change that is going to be ready from into the pits. In the meantime, June trying to get past Maledictus down into turn 1. Not quite close enough. XJerry has gone through on V5HRL in the meantime. He's up to P14. V5HRL now giving way. And Chapelelli goes straight on in through turn 1. Chapelelli goes straight on through turn 1. polystyrene boards get a little bit of action there, and he is going to let through Game Boys, I do believe, as well. So Schiaparelli comes out on track safely. RRT Sterling is out on track. Schiaparelli, not surprisingly, gets a time penalty as a result of that slight outbreak. Montana in the meantime though, 0.8 of a second, leading the way for Marquez is in second. We've cut on board now with the battle for the lead. It's Montana not really getting away in these conditions. As I said, if it was dry conditions you would factor it one way, but Montana not really getting away from Marquez's. That gap has stabilised roughly in these conditions at 0.9 of a second. I'll have a look on board with the comment section though in the meantime. TJ Downing saying whatever came of the Harrison David Marquez's incident at Baku. I am not sure. I'm going to have a check of the standings now. I'll update you on that now. Actually, about Baku, Harrison David DNF'd at the race, and Marquez's also DNF'd at the race. So I think on the judgment that they didn't finish the race, they don't get any points at all towards their championship, and I think there was penalty points awarded for both drivers. I think it was either 5 or 10 penalty points, if I'm not mistaken, in the stewards report that came out after the Baku incident. So I'm not sure if that is true, but I'm pretty sure both of them did get penalty points as a result of their contact. And I think fair play to the stewards for making that. I think fair play for that decision making. So I think both of them, on account of what happened, I think deserve penalty points, to be honest. Rafa is through in the meantime. He's up to P7 on Rick. He's beginning to make his way through the field once again. Marcelino is his next target ahead. And Rafa really beginning to get into the run of things here tonight in League of Europe Division 1. If you are tuning in, we're about a third of the way through the race here. Schiaparelli is through on Game Boys further down the field. That was for P16 out on track. But if you're just tuning in, Montana leads the way, Marquez is second, Bullet Boy in third, and of course I am always here for Division 1 commentary. James Head 14, your commentator. Affiliation, of course, with TTG Gaming Esports, and I'm thrilled to be commentating on behalf of them here tonight for Division 1, and of course for the rest of the season you'll be getting to know me a lot more along the way, I'm sure. And well, Luigi in the meantime is on the back of Rick. Rafa's struggling with the front wing and he comes into the pits. Thought he was struggling a little bit, and Rafa now is into the pits. Catching ball with his pit stop in the meantime, because now Luigi the Belgian is going to attack Rick down the inside. Luigi much later on the brakes. Can he get the car stopped in time? Yes, he can. Fantastic move down the inside by Waluigi, and he is through. He's up to P7. Great commitment on the brakes there from Waluigi. He gets the move done. The Tifosi will be very happy with that. He's up to P7. We'll focus back on board with the battle for the lead, because Montana and Marquez's beginning to get a lot closer. 0.5 of a second. Montana again, maybe just struggling in these conditions. We are about a third of the way through, as I say. Doom is right on the back of Maledictus. We'll see how that develops. Position gains, bit of an update on that. Cantera's gained 6. Doom is gained 7 though. He's the most position gained at the minute out of everyone out on track, and look at all the greens on the position gains. That's what we like to see. Schiaparelli is into the pits as well. I think RLRT Sterling has also came into the pits. I think he might have came in, yeah, he came in a lap earlier, I do believe. We'll check the stops. Yeah, RLRT Sterling just coming in behind Rafa there in terms of the pit stops. Wouters in the meantime getting close to Cantera, never close enough for a move. Doom is through the one. Maledictus running down the straight into Ascari. Completed that move. Maledictus just nearly killing me through the camera shot there. Goodness me. Be having a word with him after the race. Wouters though in the meantime on the back end of Cantera. Marquez's new fastest lap of the race, 32.1, and that will gain him that extra point, of course. Much better race from Marquez's in the meantime. Rick is through on Waluigi, who comes into the pits in the meantime. Wouters, the German, trying to attack Cantera, who positioned his car as wide as possible down into turns 1 and 2. Cantera, there was no way Wouters was going to get past there, unless he tried to commit around the outside, and that would have been quite something. Daka right on the back of Doom, and in fact I think Doom has got past Daka now, so Doom is through on Daka. Not sure whether that occurred out on track as Doom loses control of the car slightly. He recovers it, and Daka is back through. Maledictus now on the back of this. Doom, slight mistake. The 6 just costing him as Maledictus is forced onto the grass. I'm not sure if that was off the camber of the corner, or whether that was Doom rejoining on track, possibly just making his car look as wide as possible. I didn't see that on camera angle. It'll be interesting to see the POVs. Not sure if that'll get investigated. I didn't see anything, to be honest. It might have just been Maledictus running one off the apex, to be honest. But in the meantime, Doom right on the back of Dakar, trying to make that position up again after that slight spin out of turns 1 and 2. Doom running down the hill. Bit of a four-way battle going on for 8th actually. Dakar, Doom, Maledictus and YHYY now getting onto the back of this. The Finn, of course, well up there in the championship standings currently. YHYY 6th in the Toro Rosso with 10 points. Montana responds, new fastest lap of the race with a 31.9. Bullet Boy, as a result, can't live up with the pace as Schiaparelli is retired from the session. Schiaparelli retires from the session. I'm not sure where that has happened out on track. We'll try and ride on board with Montana to pick up on where that has happened. I have a feeling it might have been out of the Les Mills as Dakar is into the pits. Montana, though, in the meantime, coming through towards the end of Sector 1. There are not yellow flags ahead in this section. There are still yellow flags ahead out on track. I have a feeling he might have lost it through the first or the second Lesmo here. It's the only real opportunity I can really give. Listen, the squeal off the tyres there. Really, really squealing. They're saying, help me. I haven't got any grip at all. Coming through the second Lesmo. Very difficult to see where he actually might have crashed that Schiaparelli. Hopefully we might get a comment from him in the comment section about it though. Montana though, lap 11 out of 27, it's Montana who leads, Marquez is in second, Bullet Boy, as a result of the pace out in front, Bullet Boy can't live up to the pace, he is going to be coming under some sort of threat as well when everyone starts to pit. Dakar, by the way, came out behind RRT Sterling as a result of his pit stop, but Bullet Boy, he's going to be coming under threat from the likes of Rafa and Sterling when he decides to come into the pit. Of course, we are nearing the halfway stage, it'll be interesting to see if any of the leaders pit. Not this lap. Marquez is in. Marquez is into the pit lane. He's going to try and do an undercut here. So Marquez is in. No surprise what tyre he's going to go on. That is going to be a set of intermediate compound. A wet compound tyre. Goodness me, if he went on the intermediates, I think he would be spinning himself out the race, to be honest. That would be an absolute. That'll be one of the worst mistakes any driver could ever make, going on in a set of inters in full wet conditions. We have got pit stops happening in behind though. Jim and YHYY are back in the meantime. Marquez is out in clear air. That is going to suit him well for the rest of this race, I think now. So Marquez is out in clear air, and he's got everyone ahead to pit in. Pit stops around here around 20 seconds. It's going to be very tight. 24 seconds. Might be more than 20 seconds actually for pit stop round here. In the meantime, Wouters right on the back of Cantera again in the first decimal. Wouters just controlling his race nicely. Always gets close enough to Cantera. Doesn't commit himself into the move. With the spray being kicked up, it's difficult to see why he shouldn't go for the move, to be honest, in these conditions. And he's just playing it a bit tactically here and a bit safe at the minute for Wouters, but it is looking good. He's in 4th at the minute. I've got to say he's driving well. Most positions gained now out of the drivers out on track. Cantera's gained 7, Xjerry has gained 8. Both of them yet still to pit. But are we going to see Montana coming into the pits? No, he continues on for another lap. So Montana continues on for another lap. Marquez will probably set a new fastest lap the race next time around. Wouters is on the back though of Cantera. This is for P3. Cantera now opts to come into the pit. We're going to see Maslina coming in behind as well. Schiaparelli has left the session as a result of his crash out. RRT Sterling picked up a 3-second time penalty. Not sure where that might have occurred, through Ascari, I think. YHYY has gone through on Dakar. Dakar now beginning to struggle slightly, and we've got a raft of pit stops coming in. We've got Cantera in, Rick is in. Cantera is coming out of the pits first. Maslina's coming up just in behind him, about 2 seconds behind him, I would say, coming out the pits. Rick is coming out behind him, and then Maledictus is coming out in behind. He's going to be joining around P12, P13. So not too bad from Maledictus as he comes out of the pits. That is Doom just coming through shot, flying through shot there. That is YHYY. He's going to be on his coattails coming out the pits. But in the meantime, interesting things to note. Rafa has gained as a result of that wing change. And he has repaired his wing. He's right on the back of Maslina now, who's just came out the pit. So Rafa making the most of this race. Can get those tyres probably to the end. As we see the interval timing, 7.4 seconds to Montana. He's continued on another lap here, Montana. So it'll be interesting to see how long he can go on those tyres before he does have to pit in. Rafa, though, on the back of Maslina in the meantime. TJ Downing coming in and saying, is the forecast for full wet all race? I do believe it is. I do believe it is full wet conditions here in Division 1. Probably one of the most interesting races you'll ever see as Montana is into the pits. So Montana is into the pits, 24 seconds separating him and Marquez at this stage. Wouters now inherits the lead of the race. The German is going to be out there for at least another lap or two. Montana out the pits. Where is Marquez? He's only at the start of the straight. I think Montana is just going to be out ahead of him. If we can get a great camera angle on this, Marquez is going to torrent the slipstream. He's going to have it around the outside. Marquez is going to have him. Marquez is now into the net lead of the race. Fantastic undercut strategy by the Irishman. Marquez is through on Montana. That now throws it all up in the air a little bit. Rafa is right on the back of Maslina, running down into turn 1 in the meantime. And Rafa on the brakes commits himself nicely, and Rafa is through, and he's up to P7 out on track. But that, I think, is for a net P5. So Rafa is through and he's up for a net P5. As I said, full wet conditions out on track. The rain is just beginning to relent up, I think, slightly. I may use that term with as little confidence as possible. But in the meantime, Marquez is now in the net lead of the race. He's in P2 at the minute. White is still to pit in. Xjavi's still to pit in behind these two as well. Bullet Boy is right on the back of Cantera. He has been jumped actually by Cantera out of the pit. So Cantera, undercut strategy, seemingly working in these wet conditions. We're more than halfway through. It's Wouters who leads. Marquez is in second. Montana in third. Xjavi in fourth. Cantera in fifth. Bullet Boy in sixth, who has lost a position as a result and picked up a 3-second time penalty now as a result of that slight corner cut through the Ascari. Rafa is now 7th, running wide. Can give a run here for Maslina, and I think Maslina with the speed could be round the outside here with Parabolica. He can commit this. This could be a hell of a move from Maslina. Rafa now down the inside. Slide break by the outside. Maslina keeping it around the outside. Traction at premium here in Italy tonight. Xjavi is into the pits. It's going to be side by side on the run down towards turn 1. Maslina couldn't yet quite get the move done. He could if he goes into the slipstream of him. In the meantime, Bullet Boy is trying to get past Cantera. Late on the brakes. Bullet Boy is not going to make the corner. Surely he does. Bullet Boy, fantastic move that is. Bullet Boy is through and he's up to a net P3 out on track. Marquez's is now 8 tenths ahead of Montana. Bullet Boy though round the outside of Cantera into P1, and Montana now. Marquez's must have had a dodgy run out of the second chicane, and Montana now keeping it all the way around the outside. Marquez is now down the inside line of the first left mole, knocks him off track slightly. Bit of an over-aggression there, to be honest. Not sure what happened in the lead up to that. Marquez was 8 tenths clear of Montana. I think he must have made a mistake out on track. Montana trying to get past. Marquez is trying to defend the position as much as possible. Be interesting to see what the stewards make a note of that. Maybe just a little bit of tension building between these two. It is the net battle for the lead, as I say. Wouters is continuing on. He'd be hoping to go at least. I thought he would have been coming into the pits. But no, Marquez is still leading this race. 5 tenths of a second separating him and Marquez. It's Wouters though out in front, as I said. Marquez is in second. Montana in third, who is now on the back end of Marquez's. 4 tenths of a second. Are we going to see Montana go for a late breakdown into turn 1? Not quite. Marquez again just overrun himself there into turns 1 and 2. Montana now really hear the squeal of the tyres as they're trying to get the traction off on this very slippery conditions. Of course, the tyres will be operating at a much colder temperature compared to what they would be in dry conditions. They'll be heating up a lot quicker. They have to the drivers have to maintain a constant sense as Montana just slightly overruns the curb and has a bit of a spin. Marquez is though in the meantime 7 tenths now, just pulling away slightly. In the meantime, further down the field, Bullet Boy now ahead of Cantera. Rafa in behind on this as well. It'll be interesting to see how the race pans out in the meantime. Wouters though, 10.2 seconds, only getting closed down slightly. If you're a Wouters fan, he could be coming out possibly around Maslina, Waluigi sort of area. The Tifosi looking strong in 7th and 8th at the minute. Of course, Maslina only just a thingy, and it is actually Massina, not Maslina, as I've been calling him all race. I'll go with Maslina until the end of the race and see if he actually picks it up. But Montana Marquez, are we going to see a round 2 here for Marquez and Montana? They come through Parabolica. The start, lap 17 out of 27. It's Wouters who still leads the race. Marquez is in second. Much better run out from Montana though. Closing in about 200th of a second gain there as he sets a new personal best out on track. Are we now going to see Montana down the inside? He's going to take it nice and cautiously down into turn 1. No outbreak this time for Marquez's. Make sure his braking point is spot on. Go back on the battle with 5th though, because here comes Rafa on the back of Cantera, getting very close. Cantera trying to make that car look as wide as possible. The German now down his inside. Is he going to commit it? No, he's not. And we've got a yellow flag, and Marquez's is in the wall. Marquez's is in the wall and retires from the session. What on earth has happened there? I have not seen it on stream. He has lost his front wing. Has there been contact between Montana and Marquez's possibly to warrant that, I wonder? Hopefully we get a reaction from him either on Discord or on the comment section on YouTube. But that's a bit of a weird one. I can't really comment on that because I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So stewards will have to take the POV look at it and see what happened between them both. But lap 18 out of 27, that now throws the race into Montana's favour as a result of that retirement from Marquez's. Hopefully we will get a reaction from him in the comment section, as I say. We'll have a look on board with what you guys have been saying. We love you, James, we do, says J. Cole. This commentator is probably the best solo commentator I've heard for this game. Props. Thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, of course. I've been headhunted, so don't use that lightly as a bit of a pun there. But honestly, thank you very much. It really means a lot. In the meantime, Rafa right on the back end of Cantera. P4 and P5 out on track. Rafa now going down the inside. Can the German get it on the brakes? It's late. Down the inside for Rafa. Down the inside he goes. Round the outside. He should get the traction off. Brilliant move by Rafa. Fantastic. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Did he have a slight moment, Rafa, at the exit of the corner? I'm not sure what happened there. Was there a bit of lag? He looked like he had the move done. Rafa had the move done completely, and Cantera, bit of a slight squirm. I'm not sure what sort of happened there. In the meantime, though, this has all really developed up as now Massina and Waluigi for the Tifosi crew, 6th and 7th, could be going for possible. I hate to break it, could be going for possible double podium, but at the minute it's Montana who leads, Bullet Boy in second, Cantera in third. If you discount Wouters, who is still yet to come into the pit, making those tyres last as long as possible, the German. In the meantime, Rafa on the back of Cantera, down the inside into Ascari, not going to commit it. Thought he was going to commit it. There was room at the end for him down the inside, but he's going to wait. Of course, no DRS enabled. This has to be done by the pure driver ability out on track. Montana, fastest lap of the race with a 31.2 for him. So the German now on the back of the Spaniard in the meantime, Rafa and Cantera. Massina, the Finn, the flying Finn of Division 1 here in League of Europe. He's beginning to close in, of course, formerly known as Technique Gaming, formerly known as NSX. I don't know how many names he's had. Rafa though down the inside of Cantera. This time he's going to commit it down the inside. Cantera just backing off slightly, and Rafa is through and he's up to P4. But that could be used as a bit of a tactical point now from the Spaniard because he's on much fresher tyres. The tyre temps will be starting to get up as these cars progress through the race. We are 2/3 of the way through. Sterling has came into the pits and has decided to go on intermediate tyres. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1, and Maledictus has had a spin out of Sector 1, out of turns 1 and 2, I should say. So Maledictus has had a bit of a spin. Xjari, in the meantime, P11. He goes up and gains that position as a result. ILRT starting to win a bit of intermediates. That is not a call that I'd like to be making, to be honest. Don't think it's intermediates. We'll keep an eye on the timings. 3 seconds, keep an eye on the timings on the left-hand side of the screen. If he loses time, it's definitely not inters. In the meantime, Massina right on the back of Cantera. Rafa now through. Wouters is in from the lead of the race. He should be getting out around Cantera. This sort of battle, I think, could be out if he gets out behind Doom. And if he gets out behind Waluigi and ahead of Doom, I think that's going to be perfect because he is going to run in a bit more cleaner air compared to if he comes out. He is on a set of inters. Are we going to be seeing intermediate conditions now? pits. Not many coming into the pits. Don't listen to me, by the way. If you're judging me on your strategy, do not listen to me. I'm probably the most hopeless person for strategy person you could ever have. Wouters, in the meantime, my prediction totally out the window. He's came out in P3. So Wouters is out in P3. It now forces the issue with Sterling beginning to catch Game Boy slightly. He's getting 5/10 of a second. Maledictus is starting to come into the pit. As Game Boy is going to come in behind as well, I wonder, for the KVR team, remember. But Montana leads, Bullet Boy second, Wouters in third. We'll keep an eye on this. Wouters on a set of inters, Bullet Boy on a set of wets. I think it's now between the crossover period. So you see the crossover period, the delta will be at around the negativity in terms of the wet compound of tyres as compared to the inters. RRT Sterling is definitely gaining on Game Boy, so that now leads me to suggest it could be time for inters. But as I say, do not listen to me as your strategic person. I am not your Jeff. Do not listen to me. Listen to the person that is there. Make up your own minds. That's what I'm going to say. Make up your own minds. We'll see what Montana's going to do, though, as he comes around the final corner. A Parabolica goes out for another lap. He's not confident enough yet that it's intermediate. However, with Wouters now on the back of Bullet Boy, very, very close to the back of Bullet Boy, are we going to see a potential overtake? Is Bullet Boy now going to come into the pits, I wonder? Is he going to see it to the right-hand side? No, he continues on. It's between that crossover period, as I say. Wouters now closing in on Bullet Boy. The slipstream only has to be used. He's running in the dirty air now as Wouters decides to go down the inside. Bit of a basic error there from Bullet Boy. Not covering the inside line, but he's not going to find a way through unless he gets the switch back here. If Wouters gets the switch back here, it could be a hell of a move again. The tyre is just squealing for temperature out of turns 1 and 2. Now through Cover Grande at turn 3. Wouters is all over the back of Bullet Boy. In the meantime, though, RRT Sterling's on the back of Game Boys. 8/10 of a second, and now Wouters is on the inside of Bullet Boy. He's going to overcommit himself down into the second chicane. That was an overcommitment if I've ever seen one. Wouters not getting the move done. It is intermediate, I think, but do not listen to me. In the meantime, let's have a look what everyone is saying in the comment section. RGW coming here. TJ Downing saying probably overshot turn 1, got a bad run and tried to block Montana and crashed. Possibly. That is a possibility for the Marquez's Montana incident. Hopefully we will see a little bit of that afterwards. Let's have a look. Odem's in fact coming saying I put a wheel on Cover Grande and it auto spun him. That is a shame. So basic error catching on the grass in these conditions. You know where it's going to end up, and that's ending up in the wall. I think Marquez is maybe doing the right thing there to retire the car. He still would have been gaining good points though as a result. He did lose his front wing, would have been coming into the pits. So you never know. Wouters though in the meantime, right on the back of Bullet Boy. We are on lap 22 out of 27. Fasten up your seatbelts because this is we're gonna be on one crazy ride here in Monza. That's 6 laps to go here in Division 1. We've got the Ferraris going side by side. The Tifosi, that is a bit of a ploy, and Waluigi I think had the pace to get past Massina. So Massina now down into P7 as Waluigi is through, and we see RRT Sterling and Game Boys battling it out side by side through Parabolica. I think RRT Sterling had that down the inside. And Wouters is kicking off as well. Bullet Boy and Wouters go side by side. This is going to get RRT. Rafa now in contact. A little bit of contact shown there. Wouters just losing the back end. Rafa now down the inside. The two Germans going side by side. Please spare each other, guys. Keep it clean. Wouters hangs on to the position and Rafa just gives way a little bit. But great racing now. Sterling is through on Game Boys, as I said. So Sterling is through. Intermediates may be the order of the day now. See what Montana's going to do. He's only 3 thousandths off his personal best, so it is still in that crossover period. We've seen it before. I've seen it before in these sort of races. And now, with Rafa now on the back of Wouters, this is going to be very interesting. Rafa now getting a much better run out of Ascari, now towards Parabolica. He's got the inside line. Is the German going to give way on the outside? Yes, he does. Rafa is through, and he's up to P3. Good stuff between the two Germans, but that is now all letting Bullet Boy get away. It's a second separating Bullet Boy and Rafa at the meantime, but are we going to get round 3 between these two, Rafa and Wouters? I think Rafa's just got enough pace to see up Wouters down into turn 1. Hopefully we don't see an overcommitment on the brakes. Picks out his braking point, nobody locks up into turn 1, all through safely. That's what we like to see. But Montana leads the way. Bullet Boy in second. I've got to say, Rafa, after that lap 1 contact, is doing a sterling job to be even as close as he is to a podium finish at this moment in time. Rafa in third deserves all the credit. He's been really, really decent here tonight. And Rafa in P3, possibly going for a driver of the day performance. In the meantime, Sterling is through on B5HOL, making his way up through the field now. He has got a bit of a buffer now to play with. Dakar is 7.4 seconds ahead of him. That is going to be a mountain to climb now for Sterling. He's going to have to climb Everest if he wants to get as close to Dakar before the end of this race as possible. Bullet Boy, Rafa, Wouters in the meantime. Three-way battle for second still unfolding. And I'll tell you another one that has really, really surprised me here tonight. Well, not a surprise, but that's really impressed me here tonight. Cantera, he's up into P5, beginning to close Wouters down slightly, as Rafa now is down the inside of Bullet Boy, and he's down the inside and he's got him. Rafa has got Bullet Boy, parks it on the apex, defends the position well. Rafa is clear and he's up to P2. I'm going to put a 9 north. Bullet Boy, Wouters in the meantime. Wouters getting very close to Bullet Boy, the German. Bullet Boy now stuck in a German sandwich. This is like World War II all over again. But now Wouters down the inside on Bullet Boy. Great commitment. And he's got the position. That is a fantastic move by Wouters. Stuck in the German sandwich. Nothing you can do when you get two Germans beside you. Bullet Boy is now down to P4 and relinquishing the position as a result. Sterling now sets the new fastest lap of the race, 30.6. Fantastic stuff by Wouters though. And now the two Germans can battle once again as Bullet Boy is dropping through the field and Cantera is now beginning to close up on him as well. With Waluigi getting close, the Tifosi very much impressing here tonight. Massina in 7th as well. Tifosi, if you're a Ferrari fan, you'll be getting onto the edge of your seat right now, I would expect. Let's have a look though in the meantime what you think. World War II all over again. I know. Had to come up with something to try and impress everyone, but yeah, you can't really circumspect the pace that Rafa and Wouters have got compared to Bullet Boy. Rafa slightly just overrun himself at Ascari then, now leading for an opportunistic move down the inside here. I think Wouters, Rafa just going to feather off the throttle. Is he going to come in around the outside? Side by side the two Germans go through Parabolica and Wouters gets the move done. Rafa, I think just a slight overcommitment through Ascari led to a poor run up towards Parabolica, and now he's on the back of Wouters again. This is going to have to be done the hard way, the old-fashioned F1 way. Rafa is through once again on Wouters as he down into turn 1 as he goes side by side. Juma's through on Massina in the background. We just saw that in the background of shot. Yeah, Massina actually going round the outside of Jume. Oh, brilliant move. If he can pull that off. Massina and Jume now go side by side on the curve of Grande, and he's pulled that off. And I tell you what, the Finn deserves all the credit for that. Turning a negative into a positive. Fantastic move, but now Jume's coming back at him. It's side by side between these two. The wheels are out, banging each other. Jume is back through on Massina. They swap positions once again. Fantastic racing here tonight in Division 1. Montana out in front 20 seconds. So much for my prediction. You can ignore my prediction, what I said at the beginning of this race, but he wouldn't win. Marquez is crashing outside of him. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that? Is that Maledictus? Yeah, Maledictus going slow into the pit lane there. But fantastic racing here tonight. We cannot give the drivers enough credit. It's been very difficult conditions. If I was out in these conditions, I'll tell you what, I'd be spinning on lap 1. I'm absolutely useless at this game. That's why I stick to commentary rather than driving. And yeah, Rafa is under pressure now from Wouters once again. Bullet Boy is still very close. Cantera Waluigi not getting any closer either in the background. Rafa, Wouters, Bullet Boy. We've got 2 laps to go. Penultimate lap now here in Monza. What a crazy race it's been. Montana leads the way. Rafa in second, Wouters third, Bullet Boy fourth, Cantera fifth, Waluigi sixth, Jume, Massina, Rick, YHYY. I dare not go on board with Race Director and see what the penalty scenario is. You can probably try and judge it for yourself, to be honest. Montana, though, is leading himself on a merry dance. He can honestly go half revs pretty much around the whole track and probably still win this. Now he's 19 seconds out in front. He's losing the time, but that is only because he is backing off and letting Rafa, Wouters and the likes get a little bit closer. Through the Les Mills they go. Waluigi, though, is right on the back of Cantera. Might have been a poor run. Game Boys and V5HRL, though, further down the field, battling out for P14. It looks like the side-by-side action. That is probably through on towards Cover Grande, I think. Yeah, V5HRL's through. Game Boys, I think, might have just lost it out of Cover Grande going through that. So he's now down to P15. Maledictus running in behind as well, and he's been lapped. There's Montana coming across the line to start the final lap of the race, but the action is going to be unfolding behind, guys, because Rafa, Wouters, Bullet Boy fighting out for the podium positions, and if I've got to be honest, I think it might be staying as it is. I'm not sure about the penalties, as I say. I dare not check it because I might miss something. On to the final lap, as I said. Montana leads the way, Rafa second, Wouters in third. Wouters now closing up to Rafa. ILRT Rafa under pressure from Wouters. Are we going to see a leg commitment down the inside here from Wouters? No. He's going to think about it. Not have any sort of move. Where is it going to happen? If it is going to happen. Intermediates against wets. You would probably think at this stage in the race that the intermediates would be a lot quicker than the wets. I have to say something. I don't think they are. That's still that crossover point. It's been a constant crossover point. As actually the fuel light begins to appear on Wouters there, just running out of fuel. That means he's got less than a lap of fuel left. In the meantime, Montana is coming through Ascari. Doom has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That could be costly. Montana, though, through Ascari for the final time, and the Swiss man, the current championship leader, is going to extend his championship lead by, it looks like, another 7 points at least. The fastest lap of the race has gone to ILRT Sterling with that 30.6 on a set of inters. Wouters getting close to Rafa, not going to be close enough as they come through the final corner, as Montana in fact comes through the final corner. The Swiss man, the current championship leader, he is going to win once again. Montana wins in Italy, new fastest lap of the race as well, steals it from ILRT Sterling. Rafa and Wouters pretty much last chance saloon for Wouters down into Parabolica. Not going to be close enough though. I think the penalties might just swing his way. Rafa, Wouters going to be close to the line. It's going to be close on the run to the line, but it's going to be Rafa who gets P2, and as a result of the penalties he's down into P3, but he keeps that P3 because of the penalties in behind for Bullet Boy. Cantera finishes in 4th in the end, Bullet Boy 5th, New World reaches 6th, Doom in 7th, Messina in 8th. Good point score from the Tifosi. Rick in 9th, YHYY in 10th. Xjerry could gain a position here, doesn't. ILRT Sterling right on the back of Dakar coming across the line for P12 and P13. There's they are. V5HRL coming across the line in P14, and Game Boys will be across the line in P15, and Maledictus across the line in P16 as well. V5HRL across the line, picks up a 5-second time penalty for an unserved penalty, and Game Boys with front wing damage better come across the line. Now, Game Boys comes across the line to finish in P15. 16 finishes here in Monza. A real thrilling race turned into dominant drive in the end from Montana. He takes the win here in Monza. We see the podium celebrations unfold right now. So it is Montana who takes it to the top step of the podium. Swiss, German, first, second and third here tonight in Division 1. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed the racing that has unfolded out on track. Of course we go to Monaco next. I can't believe it, it's Monaco. I have a pure hatred for that track, to be honest. I've got to be honest, but yeah. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I don't think there's going to be many finishes, to be honest, but hopefully we will see some great racing out on track here tonight as we see the in order, and it is Montana who takes the win here. Second on the grid, he takes fastest lap of the race as well. Wouters in second, Rafa in third, Swiss, German, first, second and third. Cantera in fourth, Bullet Boy in fifth, Waluigi in sixth, Doom in seventh, Messina in eighth, Rick in ninth, YHYY in 10th. Of course, these are all unofficial results. They can change as a result of stewarding reports and penalties and etc, etc. Xjerry in 11th, Dakar in 12th, Sterling in 13th, V5HRL in 14th, Game Boys in 15th, Maledictus also finishing in 16th, Marquez's rest to forget for him in 17th, and Chapelelli in 18th, another rest to forget from him. Doesn't seem to be catching the brakes, Chapelelli, at this time. Hopefully we'll come back stronger next week as we go to Monaco for what could be the rest of the season. Might not be the rest of the season. It could be turning out into an absolute ball of a race. I'm looking forward to the thrill of commentating on that though next week. In the meantime, if you do want to catch some action, Division 2 has just started out on track, and qualifying is underway for that. Full attendance, which is good to see. There's a couple of my former drivers that I had in a league I used to own in that, so give your support to the likes of Toxic and Car Mentalist, who are making their debuts here tonight in Division 2. Of course, catch up with J. Cole and Mark fighting out each other on track as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and watch Division 2. I think I've got another commentary after this as well. If you do want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at B52Head. You can catch up all then with my commentaries that I'm going to be doing during the week. My next one will probably be tonight in around half an hour's time for TTG Project Cars. We will see you there if you are going to be joining me. But until next week, I've been James Head 14, your commentator for Division 1. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in. Go and watch Division 2. Thank you very much for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.